Find some other ways around, down trees and lines. Fire police are out there with the cones cutting off streets and all that kind of thing. So it can be really rough, and it's really best to not go out if you don't have to go out.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting messy out there now.
Yeah. Well, let's get our first things first here and talk about the weather with Chief Meteorologist Ed Hanna, who is also getting here and came through all the craziness out there to get to the station. Ed?
Yeah, thanks so much. When I left the station last night, Amanda, what was it, between 11 and 12 yesterday? Yeah, about 12 o'clock last night. So just about, I mean, it's a world of difference. Thanks very much, Amanda. I'm just saying goodbye to Amanda right now on the air. See you later. Thanks. Great work last night. Yeah, when we did the handoff last night, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And we had some rains that were coming down and had been coming down at a pretty good clip throughout the evening hours last night. Just really, truly remarkable. I was at a wedding yesterday and left for a short period of time, and it was amazing how the rain held off, for the pictures. This was up in Northampton County until about, 5, 6 o'clock. The skies opened up, and I know further southern parts of our area, rains picked up throughout the afternoon hours. But, boy, I'll tell you, it is a big-time difference if you've not been out on the roadways, and that's a great thing. I would not advise anybody to go out. There's a good amount of debris on many of the side roads, highways, ponding, sticks and leaves, and it truly looks like a hurricane is moving through the area. So, and I'm certain, got to be certain that there's some bigger trees that are going to be coming down if they haven't already, because the winds we're getting right now at this time as we speak over the last 2-3 hours, and I think for the next several hours, I think between now and 9 o'clock to noon, somewhere in that kind of window, the heaviest rains will continue to fall, as we've seen, more of the same, and the winds. I think that's something to be very to really be aware of, that we're certainly not in the clear. We've got several hours more to deal with this. Let's get to some of the numbers and some of the information. It's been fascinating to watch. Philadelphia right now seems to be the bullseye as far as highest rainfall totals, 5.60, Trenton 5.26, Lehigh Valley 4.12, and obviously you get further to the north, interesting, 2.02. Now, these numbers will change, and the reason for that, we're about the center of that circulation about 15 miles south-southeast. In fact, let me get to a graphic here. If we can we zip over? Can we pop over to Galileo real quick? Can we zip back over to Galileo, computer? There you go. Thank you so much. Give you the very latest winds, 75 miles an hour. So this is just out of the hurricane center, but it gives you some sense here. Gusts 90. So the threshold of 74 miles an hour holding, even though it weakened much of last night, we saw it continue to be about 80 miles an hour. So still Category 1 movement north-northeast. This is so important. Yesterday we were talking about most of the day as we were giving you updates, 8 to 14 miles an hour, 13, 14 miles an hour. Then late last night was 16 miles an hour. So this is good. This gives us some indication, which is very normal and typical. Once a storm continues to move north, it should start to accelerate north or northeast, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So north-northeast is very good. We want to see that kind of skirt away. And there's also some good news for New York City, at least some good news, and that is if the center of the circulation was going to pass well west of Manhattan, that would have meant a wall of seawater heading into Manhattan. So that obviously is very good news. The direct track, looks like it's going to continue to make its way closer to Long Island and maybe just brush through the eastern part of New York City. But, I mean, the storm is so immense. It's just that wall of water, if it had been coming in and kind of making its way on the west side, you'd have a completely different situation. So at this point in time, that's better news for New York, even though they're getting slammed as well. So Category 1, the path, really just remarkable how well a job the models had done on this path. As you can clearly see, it's truly remarkable. And we had said, it would likely be a Category 1. The models had been suggesting that as it makes its way off the New Jersey coast by 8 a.m., we're likely going to be just right off maybe central New Jersey, Toms River. Probably maybe even a little bit further north, and the thing is everything's kind of falling together right on target here, but you'll get some sense here. And this is still one of those situations, boy, look at that. Look at this rain being thrown back. But you get back down to southern Virginia, the rain is now tapering off and ending. So we definitely have a number of hours here to go. And I know the Philadelphia radar site went down. And so that certainly is not very helpful. That's why you're not seeing some additional rain kind of filled into the back here. But the good news is that we still have, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what we're talking about. As far as rainfall totals are concerned, I think these numbers likely will hold up, 8 to 12 inch amounts in the far eastern parts of our viewing area. Now, you say, well, looking at the numbers, you're seeing uniform numbers across the area. The reason being is as that storm pulls up now up the coast New Jersey, you're going to start to see some really significant wraparound bands back here. And I think the north and western parts of New Jersey might be the bullseye where we'll be talking about the 8 to 12 inch amounts. As far as get further back into a good part of our viewing area, we're in the lower end of these ranges right now. And so then you kind of calculate through, well, if it continues to rain like this, these bands coming through between now and, let's say, the heaviest wind and rain till maybe 9 o'clock, I still think we're going to be talking about some wind and some rain. Make no mistake about it, even into the early afternoon hours as it tapers down and wind off. But the heaviest, I think these numbers look like they're going to hold pretty solid. That's what we've got right now. Some river stage data, again, Bern, Reading. I'm just taking a look, looking at these brand new numbers with you for the first time in the last couple of hours. But you'll see there, okay, there you can see the Pottstown location along the Schuylkill River. Some minor flooding forecasted there, and that looks like the forecasted crest late Sunday. Delaware River, Belvedere, Easton, and this was the big change last night when I got this information. We passed that along to you just immediately. And flood stage in Easton along the Delaware River, 22 feet. It does look like major flooding likely to occur. That would be Monday afternoon. 32 feet expected there in Easton, so that's of some concern. These numbers will be increasing, and this is what we're going to be watching now and updating, not only the additional rainfall, but these numbers here along the rivers to see how they are going to be rising. But boy, just in the last couple of hours, they have gone up. Regalsville, that would be considered major flooding, about 8 feet above the flood stage. Trenton, again, that looks like some minor to moderate flooding. Along the Lehigh River, some of those numbers have come up as well, and it does look like Walnutport and Bethlehem, we expect some flooding. So kind of wrap it up here real quick. The worst part of the rain and wind has been occurring for the last several hours. It will continue on at least, I'd say, for another several hours, so probably somewhere in the 9, 10 o'clock range. Still going to be talking about some additional rain and wind after that, but that's probably the core of the worst case conditions. And boy, this is a real nasty storm, no two ways about it, and it's just a great idea. The roads were empty when I just got in here, so I'm so glad folks are just staying home and staying put. Guys, we'll throw it back over to you.
All right, we will talk to you soon, Ed.
Sounds good.
Wow, what a morning.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, the storm wreaking havoc on the roads. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of the roads are rivers, a lot of trees are down. Yeah. A lot of main routes blocked right now.
That's right. Even larger roads are blocked. It's trouble out there. Vern Anderson is in the 69 News Traffic Center this morning to give us a look at the roads. Vern, how's it looking?
Hey, Rob. We have got quite a list to look at this morning. We're going to take a look at some of the sky cams to give you an idea of what it's like out there. Best idea, don't go out on the roads this morning. Stay home. We've got a lot of trees down. Really a mess out there. Checking in with Allentown Communications, Union Street at Union Terrace closed. Hamilton Boulevard at College Drive also closed. A lot of closings along South 4th Street in South 4th Street in Allentown, Susquehanna, Juniata, Brookdale, Wabash. Mack Boulevard Underpass also closed. 10th and Martin Luther King is closed. St. Elmo from Union to Martin Luther King closed. We've got trees down in the 3600 block of Tillman Street and 3rd and Union Boulevard. Checking in the city of Bethlehem, 412 off of Millside Drive closed. 378 southbound closed. Apple Bottom Road closed. Simersville Road closed, and portions of 512 are closed. Reading Communications also reporting some problems. 1800 block of Oak Lane, they've got a tree down. 6th and Douglas, power lines down. Lorraine and Union closed. Hampton Heights closed. Hudson Street and Oley Street also closed. We also have from Berks County, PA 10 between Freemansville Road and PA 724, Philadelphia Avenue in Cumru Township, closed due to a down utility line. Lehigh County not looking good either. We've got a lot of closings there as well. Indian Creek Road, that is Indian Creek Road and Cedar Crest Boulevard in Upper Milford Township due to flooding. PA 309 between East Hopewell Road and Center Valley Parkway in Upper Saucon Township is closed due to flooding. PA 378 between US 22 and 3rd Avenue in the city of Bethlehem closed due to flooding. US 22 Hamilton Boulevard North between Haynes Mill Road and Cedar Crest Boulevard in South Whitehall Township is also closed. That is due to flooding. Mill Creek and Spring Creek Road between PA 100 and Mill Creek Road in Lower Macungie Township closed due to flooding. Citronia Road between Trexler Town and Grange Roads in Upper Macungie Township is closed due to flooding. Landis Mill Road between Wyhill Road and Old Bethlehem Pike in Upper Saucon Township, same story, closed due to flooding. Checking in Northampton and Monroe County. Monroe County, PA 447 between Stokes Avenue and Bushy Mountain Road in Stroud Township is closed. Northampton County also experiencing some problems. Lehigh Drive between 4th Avenue and Adamson Street in the city of Easton is closed due to flooding. Bushkill Drive between Zuckersville and Kesslerville Road in Forks Township also closed. Black River Road between Wyandotte Street and Brigham Road in Lower Saucon Township closed due to flooding. PA 412 between South 4th and Commerce Boulevard in the city of Bethlehem closed. PA 611 also prone to a lot of flooding between Lower Mud Run Road, appropriate name, and Main Street and Front Street in Lower Mount Bethel Township closed due to a downed tree. Now, PennDOT warns motorists really don't drive across roads. They're covered with water because the water may be deeper than it looks, and never drive around a barricade or a sign that closes a roadway. Obviously, we are monitoring the scanners and keeping track of everything that's going on up here in the traffic center. We will have more information for you soon. We're going to make some calls, keep an eye on the sky and the traffic cameras. But for the most part, the best advice, stay at home, watch TV, stay safe, let the crews do what they're doing. We're hearing reports of sewer drains being blocked, power lines down, and emergency crews being out there. That's the latest from the 69 News Traffic Center. Rob, Wendy, back to you.
All right, good advice. Thank you, Vern.
Wow, I didn't know the roads were anywhere near as bad as that.
I know.
He had quite a long list that included even the majors, portions of 22, 512, 309. These are areas that are closed, so it's just not a good idea to be heading out there. As we mentioned earlier, we have a team of reporters stationed across the viewing area.
That's right. They're braving the elements to bring you the latest on those rising rivers and creeks and even those closed roads. We're going to head out to John Craven now. He is in Fountain Hill. John, what did you find there?
Well, Wendy and Rob, look right behind me. If you're in Fountain Hill, this is what you're waking up to this morning. Looks like a manhole cover came off the intersection of Delaware Avenue and Lynn. Water literally gushing out into the street. And again, you know, Vern was talking about a lot of those road closures. We don't even have any barricades out here or any officers out here. So in addition to all the places that are on that list, there are a lot of places that the cops just haven't gotten to yet. This is something we just happened to drive up upon. Show you down here, there's also another manhole cover that apparently has also come off on Delaware Avenue. This thing is pretty well underwater at this point. Most people doing the smart thing. They're turning around or turning into the neighborhood here. A couple people trying to go through here. I wouldn't recommend that. It is pretty deep. On the drive out here, we also saw a lot of standing water and a little bit of debris, too, over on Emmaus Avenue, headed out from Allentown over towards St. Luke's. So, again, if you don't have to be out this morning, don't. We're also hearing about a water rescue in the Hecktown Road area, Bethlehem Township. So, again, it's a dicey situation out there. A lot of roads closed, a lot of roads flooded that aren't barricaded off. So, it really, if you can, stay home this morning. Back to you guys.
Boy, that is the best advice of all. John, thanks very much for that. Wow, places that the police officers haven't even been able to get to yet. They got their hands full out there with so many streets looking, unfortunately, a lot like that.
All right, welcome back to our special coverage this morning of Hurricane Irene. And we've been telling you all morning long about the issues out there on the roadways. There are a lot of trees down, wires down, just flooding, ponding in areas. And that means there's a lot of roads out there that just aren't passable right now.
Right, and take a look at one of them. We have a picture from Delaware Avenue and Lynn Street in Fountain Hill. WFMZ's John Craven brought us a live report from this area in the past hour. He tells us that it looks like a couple of manhole covers blew off in this area. All that rushing water has turned the intersection there into a lake in Fountain Hill. And you'll find a lot of places not necessarily gushing as big as that, but I ran into quite a few where ponding is a verb. I don't know if laking is a verb, but boy, there are some places that are really just lakes on the roads, and you come upon them rather suddenly, of course, so you really have to watch that.
Yeah, and as we were talking to just Mayor John Callahan not too long ago, and he was saying how, you know, the common areas are flooding, the places that you expect and that you see, but even places that never, it seems, almost never see water are flooding. And we ran into that, I know you did, coming up East Rock Road. I mean, people are familiar with our station. We're up pretty high up here on a mountain. It's rare for us to have issues with water on the roads because of that, but I know coming up the road, there was some serious water in places already, just running down off the mountainside. So even if you live in a place where you say, you know, we never have problems with water, doesn't flood here, our roads will be fine, you may want to rethink that. Really, as we mentioned before, not many reasons to go out. Places are closed, stores are closed, even Wawas are closed, something that never happens. And we have a scroll, of course, running across the bottom of the screen, and the churches are closed this morning. So really, not any reason to go out.
Not any reason to go out. It's really rough out there. You could get stuck. I was warned at a Wawa that was open on Route 309 south of Coopersburg, just north of Quakertown, by the Richland fire policeman. Thank you very much, sir, for helping me out with that. It was my only way to get to the station, by the way, but that if I went due north to that Shelley Cherry Road area, that there was 2 or 3 feet of water in cars that are just stranded there. So no doubt there's some water rescues that are taking place in various places as well. So again, don't go out if you don't have to go out. Now let's check in on our team in Berks County.
That's right. WFMZ's Dwayne Parker is one person who is out there this morning. He is on Arlington Street in Reading. How's it going out there, Dwayne?
Good evening, Rob and Wendy. It's good to know that people are taking this storm very seriously. On our way here to DI Dives Playground in Reading, we saw very few people on the road, and that's good. You want to see that. But let me just show you really quickly. We're keeping an eye on this tree behind us. There's nothing wrong with the tree, but we're just using it to gauge how strong the wind is blowing. Right now, it seems to be very calm at the moment, but that's good because I want to point out this. The storm, since we're not exactly in the eye of the storm here in Berks County can be very, very deceiving. You have to be very careful and not underestimate it. In fact, when we were on our way to DI Dives Playground, we were traveling on 422 westbound, and in fact, this storm was able to topple a tree just a bit smaller than this tree. This tree is probably 100 years old. So the whole right lane of 422 west between the exit of Mount Penn and the Morgantown Expressway was completely blocked due to this fallen tree. Then a few miles up 422 west near the Walmart, yet another tree was toppled. So if you think that, you know, right now the winds are not blowing, you know, all that strong, you might want to think again, because at just a moment's notice, these wind gusts can come and topple a tree with very little effort. We were also planning to go live from Birdsboro, but just to give you another idea of the elements that we're dealing with, we weren't able to tune in Birdsboro, so we had to come down here. So just the storm is causing havoc all over Berks County. It's a very deceiving storm, and you should keep a very close eye on it and really not underestimate it in any way, shape, or form, because it can sneak up on you. Rob and Wendy.
Boy, that's the truth.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thanks,
we'll check back with you in a bit.
And now let's go to WFMZ's Bo Koltnow.
He is live down on South 4th Street in Allentown, taking a look at the water situation down there. Bo.
Rob and Wendy, you guys talked about lakes in the road. Well, realistically, this has become a river in the road. If you look down at my calf, you can see that the water here has risen about mid-calf. Now, if I were to go into the street, we're at the corner of 5th Brookdale Street and 4th Street here in Allentown, it would literally be up to my knee. Now, I've been told that our camera is kind of fogging up. So I want to give you guys an idea of just how hard this water is moving. So I'm going to set the microphone down on the water, and I just want you to listen to this. Hold on. Here we go. Now, to me, that sounds like it could be possibly the Lehigh River up in the Lehigh Gorge. And I don't know how much of this you can see, but it has literally created a rapid situation where people would die for if they were whitewater rafting. But again, this is a street, and I want to let you know how powerful this water is. So I have a cart here. I'm hoping we can see it. Now, I'm just going to put it out here in the middle of the road, and I want to give you an idea of how hard this water is going by. Now, right now, it is tough for me to actually kind of stand. I'm hoping we can get a good idea of this, guys, because it is literally, I mean, this could really sweep me off my feet. And we'll see here. All right, now we're in the street. You can see the cart is literally being taken away, I should say, if I don't grab it. And right now here on South 5th, guys, the water is up to about my mid-thigh. So if you're driving around in this, I would recommend not doing it. You guys, again, now this is being pulled from me right now. It's very, very strong water. So, that's just to give you an idea of if you're thinking of driving in this, don't do it, because it is not a lake here. It's actually a river, and we'll be all throughout Allentown today. I'm hoping you guys can actually see me. I've been told it's very, very foggy, but we'll be out in the streets all day today, kind of giving you guys an idea of not just standing water, but realistically how Irene has turned streets into rivers. Guys, back in the studio.
Yeah, Bo, just to get...
Oh, there he is. He's putting his earpiece in.
Yeah, can you hear us all right?
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah, that's an incredible demonstration of the power of that water. But just so we have our bearings straight, since you do look like you're standing in the Monocacy Creek or something, you are on 5th Street in South Allentown? Or 4th or what?
Right. Yeah, this is the Walgreens, Rob, here. I'm going to turn around, and I apologize. I'm kind of getting a feedback in my ear. But I'm in the parking lot in the Walgreens.
Oh, my goodness.
And this would be South 5th. Right here. Now look at this. This is up to my calf. And if I were to go out actually into the street, which I am, hold on.
Well, don't necessarily do that.
Yeah, now I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, I work out a lot, guys, and it's taking all the muscle strength I have in my legs to keep me upright. So if anybody's walking around and you think you can walk through this, I would highly recommend against it. It can be very, very dangerous.
All right, be careful out there, both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, and try to find a dry spot if there is one out there.
Definitely. All right. Thank you, Bo. So that is a pretty good representation of what it is like out there. And Bo did mention, I mean, we know Bo is a strong guy.
Yes.
There's no getting around that.
He said he works out. He's a muscle man is what he is.
He is a muscle man.
And he's having a hard time standing up in the water there.
So that gives you some indication of what it's like if you think you're going to be able to go out there and explore and look around and see what it's like. Not a good idea. That parking lot there at Walgreens, it did look like a lake at this point.
We're trying to get through some of that high water. And Bo, you're still on South 5th?
Rob, I'm still on South 5th. I wanted to stay here because, you know, we came around 5:30 this morning, and I know a lot of people might not have been up at that time, but if you can see it right now, it's up to about my mid-calf, and it is literally trying to sweep me off my feet. This current is very, very strong, but if people are watching at home, believe it or not, this water has actually receded over the past 45 minutes. If you would have been watching about an hour ago, it was up to mid-thigh, and there was a grocery cart, and it could literally take the grocery cart and sweep it right down the road here. If you look behind me, you can see the ball fields right off Dixon Street in South 5th. Those are completely underwater. And I'm going to walk forward just a bit into the parking lot of the Walgreens here on South 4th, and you can see that it is virtually underwater. If we can pan down right here, you can see it goes all the way up almost to the door right over there. And throughout the morning, a lot of people have been stopping by in this location and saying to us, hey, we can't get to work. I can't get home. I live on 309. I live over in Emmaus. I'm trying to get to the Sunrise Diner. So if you don't have to be out this morning, as we've been saying all morning, don't be out because it is very, very hard to get around. And we're going to come right over here. And again, about an hour ago, this was all underwater about an hour ago. So I guess the good news in this location is that things are starting to recede. But as you can see, I'm going to head down into the street. I'm now on South 4th, right here at Brookdale Street. It is still highly, highly flooded. The current is still very, very strong. Now, we have seen some people try to cross the street here with their car. They've made it, but as Ed was saying, the water gets up to mid-hubcap. It can sweep you along. I know the police are getting very frustrated with some drivers out here because they have the SUVs and they want to go right through the water. I guess they think it's fun. But we just had reports that there's what I've been told, a Saturn that is virtually almost underwater at the corner of Lehigh Street and MLK Boulevard in Allentown. And Rob and Wendy, we're going to try to head there right after this shot. So hopefully within the next half hour or 45 minutes, we can get a better indication of exactly what's happening at that location. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right. Well, be safe out there, Bo. Thank you.
Thanks, Bo. And we will check in with Bo later. Our crews are around the area tracking that. Amazing water levels in lots of places over lots of large intersections, places that are closed. You don't want to venture out into those little lakes that have sprung up all around the area.
A lot of problems out there. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right, now we're going to check in live once again with Bo Koltnow.
He is live at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Lehigh Street right now. Bo, how's it going out there?
Well, Wendy, if you can see me, the water is up to mid-thigh, and I want you to take a look at this. Look behind me. Can you guys see that red car there? Can you guys see that? Back at the station? Well, anyways, I've been told that's about, I think, a Saturn. The last hit we had about 45 minutes ago, someone said that somebody was actually rescued from that. There's nobody in that car now, but that should give you an idea of just how high the water is here. And this is no doubt coming from the Little Lehigh, which flows right behind me. And you can see it over there. This entire intersection of MLK Jr. Boulevard and Lehigh Street is completely flooded out. I'm up almost to my waist right now in water. And guys, I've been living in this area for about the past 3.5 years. I have never ever seen it flood like this before. So if you're in this area, this is definitely not a way to travel. It actually extends all the way down MLK Boulevard. You can see it's starting to cover the Arboretum, which is off to my right there. I'm going to come back over this side. If you guys can see, it's heading in both directions here. It is completely cut off. The bridge behind me on Lehigh Street, that is completely covered. This is no doubt, again, from the Little Lehigh River, which has overflooded the area. But again, guys, just check this out. I mean, that's a car stuck in the middle of the road here that is almost completely covered with water. And I drove in this area coming to work at about 4 o'clock this morning, so that should give you an idea of just how fast and how high this water has risen in this section just over the past few hours. Rob and Wendy.
That is unbelievable, Bo. You know, wow. A lot of people saw the Weather Channel yesterday and all the people who in Virginia Beach were playing in the storm and so forth, and it was really dangerous and stupid to be doing that. And fortunately, it looks like you are pretty much alone out there. Am I right?
No, I'm not. Hey, excuse me, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, pardon me. Hey, we're on live television right now. What are you doing out in this?
Man, I went for a jog, and then started my way home, and that's what I found.
You're not watching the news? Do you have power?
Yeah, I had power last time I left my home, yes.
Where do you live?
On the east side of Allentown.
And so you've been walking around. Have you seen water this high anywhere else?
Nah, nowhere else. I started coming down here to get ready to go home, and that's what I ran into.
Well, are you going to head home, or are you going to continue to venture out?
I'm going to go that way.
All right. Well, hey, good luck to you, okay? Stay safe. And I'm going to recommend anyone watching at home to not do what this gentleman here is doing, because as you guys can see, the water is very high. When I was over on South 4th and 5th, if you guys remember, that water was rushing, that water was raging, and you never know what an undercurrent is going to do in what's become rivers for roads here in Allentown. Rob and Wendy.
Oh, wow, Bo.
That is incredible. Bo, thanks for bringing us that and staying on top of or in the water. And we'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
He's at MLK and Lehigh Street, and the Little Lehigh has gushed over in just the last few hours, because he said he drove through there at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So, what, 3 hours later?
And, of course, just as I'm asking, are there any people out there in the midst of it? There's this fellow walks up there. Waist-deep water. Unbelievable. And as Bo said, not recommended.
No.
Not a good idea.
Because one of the problems in that, obviously, is you're walking along, you can't see where curbs end or drop off, and what was knee-high water could be chest-high water before you know it.
Well, Vern just said his friend stepped off in some water that he couldn't see to the bottom of, and it was shallow and suddenly 4 feet deep.
Exactly.
He was waist over his waist. So you got to watch that. Very dangerous out there. All right, be aware of that. If you're just joining us this morning, just past 7:30, hundreds of churches have closed. Some businesses have closed, but interestingly enough, some have not.
Yeah.
So some people are venturing out to get to work. But emergency management people say it's really best not to do that if you can avoid doing that.
That's right. And as, I mean, Bo, once again, a perfect example. If you passed through one area just a few hours ago, and we're able to get through, so you think everything's fine, trying to get back may be a whole different story.
Not fine. And the gentleman he talked to said he has power, but tens of thousands of people here don't have power. At last check, 133,000, last I heard anyway, in the PPL system without power, and 75 to 80,000 in the Met Ed system. Well, it includes Reading and some of Lancaster County, I think, but it's a lot of people without power this morning. So we have flooded basements as well as the flooded roads. It is one big mess, and a storm, no doubt, that we will remember for quite a long time.